Hey everyone, I'm here with Chef Murray Zehr, and this is Car Conversations. We have a lot to talk about. He's worked on Chef Chopped Canada, he's written 2 books, he's done such amazing things. He's from our area, so you want to take a ride and talk about it?
Absolutely,
Thank
you for having me. Okay.
All right, so the purpose of Car Conversations is just really to inspire local people. So instead of being in Haldeman, Norfolk area, we actually brought it down to Brant County, and here we are again with Murray. And so tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you get involved in the food industry?
Well, I knew at a very young age I wanted to become a chef, and my career has been absolutely wonderful. I was an executive chef downtown Toronto. The next thing I know, I became a high school teacher for almost 20 years, teaching chef training. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I've taken my students to cook for Prince Charles, Gordon Ramsay, and I've done other things too. I've been a restaurateur. I owned 8 restaurants, and I taught at 2 local universities. A couple of years back, I came across an abandoned schoolhouse and decided that I wanted to have my own college. I didn't know at the time until I saw it. So what I did was I transformed this wonderful little one-room schoolhouse into the 1909 Culinary Academy.
Oh, okay, so I actually ate there. So you opened 2 years ago?
I opened 2 years ago,
right
yes.
During a pandemic?
We were open for 3 weeks, and then unfortunately COVID hit. At the time we had a 6-month waiting list in our restaurant, and students lined up to take our classes. But we were able to pivot well. We became one of the busiest patios actually in Ontario during the pandemic.
I believe it. We went there. It was all over Facebook, and I was like, I gotta try this.
We were picked up as the place to go during the pandemic in the summertime.
Yeah. Well, your patio is gorgeous.
Thank you.
I loved it. The food was amazing. We had like 2 things of potatoes, not a poutine, but similar, like the big chunks of potatoes. So good, and that's amazing. All right, so you have that going on. You've also worked on a TV show.
That's right. So I worked with Chopped Canada for a couple of years. So I was the backup chef. So if anyone, say, was not able to go on, maybe they were too nervous, even if they just missed a flight, my responsibility would be to jump in and film the episode.
Oh, neat. How was that experience?
It was great. Absolutely wonderful. I love Toronto. I love the Food Network. I love everything that the Food Network has done.
Yeah.
Not just for our students, but just for our community and the awareness piece on good eating.
Yeah, I love Chopped Canada. Actually is my favorite cooking shows. I don't watch a lot, but that one literally is my favorite. And I one day want to rent like a kitchen with like 3 different stoves and do my own little challenge with my sisters and stuff, and just see who really is the best cook.
Give me a call.
Yeah, you can be the judge. Let's do this. Chris, our cameraman, you can film it. All right, so you did that. You've done a lot, it sounds like, and now you have written a book.
Well, I've actually during the pandemic, I've written 2 books this year. So the first one was inspired simply by the pandemic. What we found was, everyone was jarring, canning, and preserving. To the point that we actually had a global shortage of mason jars. So my thought process was, we have millions of people jarring, canning, and preserving, and they have all of these products in their pantries and they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So I created the first cookbook of its kind, and it's what else can I do with these preserves? So besides opening up a jar of pickled beets or yet another charcuterie platter, I picked the top 19 items that people were preserving and made appetizers, entrees, and desserts out of them.
Ah, very cool.
And then my second book actually started off as a joke. We had a 7-day challenge on my first book, which I had to reach out to various celebrities, and they had to get back to me within 24 hours. I believe it was day 4 was Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, nice.
And we did not hear back from him, so we decided to sweeten the pot and offered that my next book would be Aviation American Gin, the cookbook. Even though he never got back to us, it was such a good idea, we decided to follow through with it. So we actually released the book on Amazon maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the great part about what we're doing right now is from December 1st until the 24th of December, $5 from every cookbook sold is going to the Red Cross for the BC Flood Relief Program.
I love that. So we can get it on Amazon?
On Amazon, that's correct.
All right, that's perfect. Well, thank you for helping the Canadians that need it on the West Coast, and that's pretty cool. I noticed the aviation gin on the cover. And I was like, I wonder why you chose that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's the first gin cookbook of its kind. and not only does it have gin in most of the recipes, but it actually pairs very well. Gin is very difficult to pair food with. Some foods pair well with gin, some foods pair well with foods that pair well with gin. I know that sounds complicated, but we have a resource now.
All right.
So.
All right, so that sounds really cool. You have lots going on. Anything else you can share?
The next book is almost ready, and we'll be releasing that maybe January, February. But you know, you're going to have to follow us on Instagram to see the next book that's coming out.
All right, that sounds good. So, do you like cooking in your spare time?
I love cooking in my spare time. I have no spare time. All of my time involves cooking. It involves teaching, writing cookbooks, going to markets, supporting local. Very big fan of craft beer as an example. So, you know, the odd time I do have off, I do love going to the various establishments around here, and we have some of the greatest ones around.
I love craft beer. Are you ever going to make a cookbook about that? That's something I could get on board with.
You're going to have to follow me on Instagram to find out.
Will do.
So.
That sounds good. Okay, so what's your favorite dish to make? What are you like? What's your like? You know what? I'm dying for this.
That is such a tough one. Being a chef, I would have to say my favorite ingredient would be lobster.
Okay.
I absolutely adore lobster. I love everything about lobster. If I had to look at a certain cuisine, Italian cuisine is one of my favorites. It's simply because of the comfort level behind it. I love teaching students how to make, you know, risottos and fresh pastas from scratch. There's just something about that, especially in the winter time right now, to be able to open up beautiful red wine, you know, and watch the storm with the fireplace going and eat these comfort foods. There's really nothing greater than that.
I totally agree. Do you ever, so seafood, lobster, anything else?
Massive mushroom fan. I
really?
love truffles. I love portobellos. Really, there's not a single food I don't like, and there's not anything that I really don't like to teach how to cook or cook myself at home.
Awesome. That sounds good. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you show people how to do things?
We don't have a YouTube channel yet. It's been, you know, my marketing team has been hounding me, and they will continue to hound me now that you've said this. But it's one of those things that we are going to be looking at when there's just a little bit more free time. We do want to release the next book, and we do want to focus on this aviation gin cookbook right now, at least until the 24th of December, because once again, $5 from every book is going to the Red Cross.
That's amazing. I love it. All right, well, this was an amazing car conversation. Really thankful you took the time, and you've done amazing things. Part of the reason we do this show is just to help people understand, like, a lot of times small towns get a bad rap, and it's just like, oh, well, what good can come out of like a county town of like a few thousand? But we have so many inspirational people like yourself doing amazing, cool, out-of-the-box things. We really want to highlight that. And yeah, again, we appreciate everything.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.